In the history of philosophy, few thinkers have focused as deeply on the individual human being as Soren Kierkegaard. Born in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1813, Kierkegaard lived during a time when many philosophers are trying to build grand systems that explain reality. But Kierkegaard believed something important was being forgotten: the unique experience of the individual person. For Kierkegaard, philosophy was not simply about abstract theories or logical systems. He argued that the most important questions are personal ones. Questions such as who am I? How should I live? What should I believe? These are not questions that can be answered by formulas alone. They require personal commitment and reflection. Kierkegaard was especially critical of philosophers who treated human beings as if they are just pieces in a large system. He believed that each individual faces unique struggles, choices, fears, and responsibilities. Because of this, philosophy should begin with lived experience rather than abstract concepts. One of Kierkegaard's central concerns was the problem of existence. He asks what it means to truly exist as a human being. According to him, many people move through life without deeply examining their beliefs or choices. They simply follow social expectations and habits without questioning them. Kierkegaard encouraged people to become aware of themselves as individuals. He believed that genuine living required self-examination, personal responsibility, and courage. This emphasis on individual existence later became one of the foundations of existentialism, influencing many 20th century philosophers. Throughout his writing, Kierkegaard explored themes such as freedom, anxiety, faith, despair, and authenticity. Although his work are often connected with religion, his insight into human psychology and personal choice continue to influence philosophy, literature, theology, and even modern psychology. One of Kierkegaard's most famous ideas is the statement, "Subjectivity is truth." At first, this phrase can sound confusing. It does not mean that facts no longer matter or that everyone can simply invent their own reality. Instead, Kierkegaard was drawing attention to a different kind of truth. There are many truths that can be known objectively. For example, mathematical equation, scientific measurement, and historical date can often be verified through evidence. These truths are important, but Kierkegaard argued that they do not answer the deepest question about how a person should live. Imagine someone studying hundreds of books about love. They may understand every theory and definition, yet their knowledge is different from actually loving another person. In the same way, knowing fact about life is different from personally living and committing yourself to certain values. Kierkegaard believed that the most important truths are those that shape a person's existence. Questions about faith, meaning, morality, and purpose cannot be answered by detached observation alone. They require personal involvement. The way an individual relates to this question is what truly matters. For Kierkegaard, a belief becomes meaningful when it is believed. Two people may hold the same belief, but one may embrace it passionately and while the other merely repeated it without conviction. According to Kierkegaard, the first person possesses a deeper relationship to that truth because it has become part of their existence. This emphasis on inward commitment was revolutionary. Kierkegaard argued that truth is not merely something we know intellectually, it is also something we experience, choose, and embody through our action. In this sense, a subjective truth concerns how we live rather than simply what we know. As we explore Kierkegaard further, we begin to see why subjectivity is so important. If the most meaningful truth require personal commitment, then every individual must ultimately make choice that cannot be fully justified by objective evidence alone. This insight leads directly to another key idea in his philosophy, The leap of faith. The leap of faith is perhaps Kierkegaard's most famous concept. It referred to the moment when a person commits themselves to a belief despite the absence of complete rational certainty. For Kierkegaard, faith is not the result of logical proof, it involved a personal decision. Kierkegaard observed that human life is filled with uncertainty. We rarely possess absolute certainty about the future, about other people, or even about ourselves. Yet we still make important decisions every day. We choose careers, relationships, and life goals without knowing exactly how things will turn out. Religious faith, according to Kierkegaard, operate in a similar way. He believed that reason can take us only so far. Eventually, a person reaches at a point where evidence and logic cannot eliminate all doubt. At that moment, faith requires a leap beyond certainty. This leap is not blind irrationality. Kierkegaard did not encourage people to believe anything without thought. Instead, he argued that after serious reflection, a person may still face uncertainty. Faith being when one chooses commitment despite the uncertainty. To explain this idea, Kierkegaard often discussed the biblical story of Abraham. Abraham was commanded by God to sacrifice his son Isaac. From an ordinary ethical perspective, this command appeared impossible to understand. Yet Abraham trusted God and remained faithful. Kierkegaard viewed Abraham as an example of faith because he acted without possessing complete rational justification. Abraham experienced anxiety, uncertainty, and inner conflict. Nevertheless, he chose trust. For Kierkegaard, this willingness to move beyond certainty becomes the essence of genuine faith. The leap of faith is closely connected to the freedom. Human beings are free to choose, but freedom can also create anxiety because choice involves risk. We cannot always know whether we are making the right decision. Faith requires the courage to act despite this uncertainty. Kierkegaard believed that avoiding difficult choice often leads to despair and inauthentic living. A meaningful life requires commitment, whether in faith, relationship, or personal values. Individuals must eventually stop waiting for perfect certainty and take responsibility for their decisions. In this way, the leap of faith is not only a religious concept, it also reflects a broader truth about human existence. Life constantly asks us to make commitments without guarantees. Courage, responsibility, and truth become essential part of living authentically. Kierkegaard transformed philosophy by placing the individual at its center. He argued that the deepest truths are not merely objective facts but personal commitment that shape how we live. Through his idea of subjectivity as truth, he emphasized the importance of inward passion and authentic existence. Through the concept of the leap of faith, he saw that meaningful commitment often required courage in the face of uncertainty. His philosophy reminds us that life is not simply about acquiring knowledge, it is about making choices, taking responsibility, and becoming the person we choose to be. Even today, Kierkegaard's insights continue to inspire those seeking meaning, authenticity, and purpose in an uncertain world. If you are still watching, I hope you are finding this content useful. Please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thought in the comment. Your support motivates me to create even more content like this.